Hey, it's me, Unapologetically T, and I am back with another poem, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. This one is called "It Did Happen to Me," and trigger warning. um, there are. This is about sexual abuse, so that's just that. I always say, you know, if it triggers you, you got some healing to do. This one, I have love and compassion for you if it has triggered you. Because I know that that's hard work. So just continue at your hard work. Maybe skip this one if you're probably not ready to get into it, but I am. Um, yeah. So that's that. Um, Once again, this is it did happen to me. There are some pieces of my childhood I could never forget, as if they were held there so I could know who was who. But then there is and was some pretty tough shit that my body and brain wanted me to forget. It's most frustrating when you lose time. It's a reminder that you're not running the show. This is your protection for sure. What happens when you're ready to finally face what happened and more? For me, I always knew what happened to me. I always felt uneasy when he was around. I hated when he kissed me most of all. I could feel his prickly mustache before it even touched my face. I can always feel his eyes on my backside or hands rub on places a father just shouldn't touch. I dread the words, dang girl, you done got so big, because this came from peering stairs, excuse me. Like he was removing my clothes with his ass. The fact that you must use your knees with your father is disturbing to me. This all happened in adulthood memories, clear as can be. So I know it happened to me when I was young and defenseless. I remember telling my mom first, but she got defensive. Like, where was she when it happened and where did he touch me? And God knows I didn't know where she was, even though I wish I of cuz she could have saved me. Nor did I want to relive what happened to me. So, we both let it go that day. She still doesn't remember, and that's fine, but I do. Back then, I pretended it never happened to me, but thank God I told a friend. Cause one day I remembered what happened again, and then I completely blocked it out, never speaking about it again. If I had not told a friend, I would have completely believed it never happened to me. We wouldn't discuss the secret again until well into my adulthood when this memory came back to me. Thank God he was there to validate me because all my life I got used to acting like it didn't happen to me. Can you imagine growing up not being able to trust your own reality? Oddly enough, with the loss of memories, the body never forgets. My body always felt uneasy around my father. I remember I had just had a baby, maybe 20 by this time, and didn't feel like bending at the knees. I could feel my father's eyes wide open, focused on me, followed by a great day, girl. You done got big. Just like the one, just like one of them pervy old men. I told my mother, and she said I should have used my knees. She called my father a dirty dog, and that was it. But I was basically being blamed for tempting my own father when he had committed the ultimate sin. I remember telling my partner how I felt weird around my father. He started to notice as well. He validated me as well and told me something not right about your dad. I remember visiting my sick grandma in a rehab center. One of my favorite cousins was there. She was always shaped nice since I was a kid, but this is where I cringe. My dad leaned in to hug her, rubbed her, and said those oh so creepy words of "Great day, you done got big, girl." Wow, being handsy enough that is not so blatant, but I saw the uncomfortable grin. She swiped his hands and said, "Move, Uncle Blah Blah," a room full of people, but no one said a word. One of the reasons I can't condemn my mother is because this is what patriarchy did. My grandmother, her mother, warned her about not trusting men, including her own father. So this is bigger than me and my mother. This goes back centuries. Incest runs rampant on both sides of my lineages. I refuse to hide from it, hoping me telling my story can put an end to it. Patriarchy puts all the responsibility on women and children. Calling young girls fast, but that was a grown ass man, is weird. To me, children brains aren't even developed to know the true damage that decision will bring. The way society handles sexual abuse is inappropriate to me. We're all trained to blame the victims, but never the men. The men, repeat offenders, get to carry on as if nothing even happened. But being abused, I lost parts of me. Some of us remain broken because something was stolen. I found my parts, but I had to travel the galaxy just to get them to return to me. I had to convince my parts that we were now safe with me. Because even though back then no one protected me, I was strong enough and bold enough to stand up for me. Not all victims are women once again. Patriarchy has failed us in seeing men as the victims too. Patriarchy is just like a double-edged sword, a quadruple-edged sword, excuse me. No matter your position or your direction, you will get stabbed. A lot of men were being touched too, but due to false masculinity, men are either oblivious or hiding in shame. If the abuse is done by a man, you can forget it being reported because they are riddled with shame. If it is done by a woman, some wear their abuse as a badge of honor. They go on in life to collect women like Boy Scout patches. For example, my partner lost his virginity at 10 or 11 by a girl that was 16. When he told me the story, I cringed. He thought it was cool until I explained. What if one of our daughters told this same story? Excuse me. He didn't realize the side effects either, but he was very hypersexual and always used sex to cope and make him feel better. He was always trying to fill a void that sex only could temporarily fill. He cheated constantly to the point I couldn't even take it personally. This was less about me and more about the void in him. I know other men touched by the babysitter and more, but patriarchy got you thinking that this is fine, so that men and women never align. I've been I've heard stories of men buying prostitutes for their sons as if this can prevent them from being gay. That that truly makes my stomach turn. What happened to finding love the natural way? Sexual abuse is never okay. Let's change how we view victims so it won't happen again. A fun fact about sexual abusers is they were abused themselves. It's like the horrible gift that keeps on giving.